What's up, YouTube? This is a short little video of how I made my custom archer, a little more details into it. Basically this is a paint job. All the facial features are just brought out by paint. I actually remember poking tiny holes to make like whisker marks. I think that's the only sculpting I did on the face. I just took a needle and just kind of poked holes to get like cat whiskers, poke holes stuff. The original figure had a medallion chain that was this huge green thing, and what you do is you get a tri-wing screwdriver, which is a specially made screwdriver for action figures, well, some of the older action figures, and you can get one off of eBay, or maybe a hardware store. He's got tri-wing screwdrivers, or screws, and you're gonna need a tri-wing screwdriver to get them out. He's got, I think he's got a couple in his knee and his back, and you're also going to need a regular small screwdriver for his arms and legs. Yeah, what's cool about customizing this figure is you can unscrew a lot of them, and you don't have to pop anything off or anything. Mainly what I did for the head part, which you can see he has more of a hunchback like in the movie, and I attached a Bionicle leg, which Bionicles are from Lego. They're like an action figure toy line, and this is a leg of one. Bionicles are good because there's a lot of pieces to them, and if it has a ball point and a joint, all you gotta do is here, let me see. All you gotta do is cut the Bionicle part, place it inside. There's gonna be a hole there for where his head used to go. Then I took an X-Acto knife and very carefully cut a circle and put this part in there, inside his head. Used hot glue to hold it in, and just gave it a good paint job. This whole chest and stomach area, you can see I cut it and then glued it back on. I just did that to make it look more like the movie. If you're gonna do this, I would suggest you skip that part because it looks okay, but it wasn't really worth the extra work because it didn't give. This isn't his chest isn't movable. He can already swivel in the waist, and that's enough for. Oh, there it goes. How I had his belt light up is there's like these fake candles you can buy that they're like fake wax candles, and they run on like a watch battery. I just hacked that up, put it inside his chest area. Actually, I do some sculpting on the back of them too, because I cut that up. So I would just leave that part alone if you try this. Put little clay spikes on his ankles, like the movie. His cloth is made out of clay, super sculpty. I just had to make that because I lost the original. And the emblem, I made a mold of it with plaster Paris, and I just poured some hot glue in it. So if you shine a light, it glows, and I painted around it so light just goes through the skull. That's just hot glue. Um, so basically you're going to want to unscrew the parts. Anything that can be unscrewed, I unscrewed. The paints I use are golden paints. And clay, I put some clay around here. Is anything air dries, that dries hard. I think it's called plumber's putty. It's like you cut it and then you mix it around and it gets real hard. He doesn't have his voice action in there or his karate chop thing because I didn't really need that. So take it apart and then you want to sand it down just so you can apply the paint easier. I use really fine sandpaper. Basically anything, don't use rough sandpaper because then he'll have a bad texture. Just use something that will make a surface that you can paint on, because if you just paint on them, then the paint won't stick nice. So that's basically it. Golden paints, plumber's putty, one of those fake candles. I did some wiring. I think I punched a hole through this part to shine the LED through. Get a lot of Bionicle parts, chop them up. I also seen a video where people make molds of this Archer head off the original, and that's a good idea because then you can have the original figure and you can make your own custom. I don't really know how to make molds. I kind of do. I'm actually working on a Link Static. I made a couple molds. Oh, Link Static molds. Head mold I made. They're like a hard plastic. I have 3 of them. And here's the scratch that I made. This is just made out of clay. So I hope I answered some questions that people had. I use techniques like dry brush to get all the details, push the details out, which is dry brush. Dry brush is when you have little paint on your brush, it's dry, and then you just kind of go over the details and they pop out more. And I also put a wash through it, a dark wash, where you mix black with water and run it through in the details, and it'll highlight certain areas. Always use a reference. I used movie photos of the props for my paint. That's how you get the closest to the movie. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope I answered questions. If you got any questions, ask. Peace.